If you're having problems with your septic system and you're tired of spending so much money each year to have it pumped, then SeptiClean is the answer for you. SeptiClean is an advanced specially formulated blend of bacteria used in the treatment of home and commercial septic systems. The breakdown of waste in your system relies on biological activity of naturally occurring bacteria. SeptiClean restores the natural biological process in your septic system and boosts the existing biological activity. SeptiClean is completely safe on all plumbing and can help prevent expensive emergencies in pumping. SeptiClean has approximately 6 to 100 times the bacteria count of other leading off-the-shelf brands in a one-year supply. SeptiClean comes in a water-soluble pack, which you flush down the toilet once a month with no mess or stress. Save time, money, and maintenance on your septic system. Find SeptiClean at Emporium True Value Hardware on Main Street in Sag Harbor or visit micro-tab.com. That's micro-tabb.com. Micro-tabb.com.
The most recent state that was called was the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which obviously went for Trump in 2016, went for Biden in 2020, and was at the center of a lot of claims of election malfeasance, election fraud. One journalist who sort of made an international name for himself by basically responding to all the claims of rigged voting in the 2020 election was Isaac Saul. He's the founder and editor of Tangle News. He joins us live from Pennsylvania. Isaac, give us your take on the results that we're seeing so far.
I mean, look, I think the race is effectively over now. So I'm your first guest who can really say that. But Fox News has called Pennsylvania for Donald Trump. From the first moment that the results started coming in, things were kind of trending this way. I mean, he's outperformed his 2020 numbers and even many of his 2016 numbers in almost every way. And Fox News is calling Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania was the only path that Kamala Harris had left to the presidency. So I think the race is over at this point. Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. Republicans look on track to have at least 53 seats in the Senate. And the House race looks like it's basically a jump ball and slightly favors Democrats right now. So a very good night if you are a Republican, conservative, Trump-supporting voter in America.
Isaac, I know there's going to be a lot of people in Democratic circles seeking to answer the question I'm about to ask you over the next 48 hours in the next 4 years. But what did Kamala Harris do wrong? Was she doomed to have this kind of result from the beginning? Or could she have won this race if she had done certain things differently?
I'm not sure she could have won the race if she did certain things differently. I think that her track record as a politician, who's winning competitive elections has not been particularly strong. And I think she was handed a really, really difficult hand. I mean, don't forget, a week before Kamala Harris became the nominee, President Biden was underwater. He looked like he had no chance to beat Trump. The race did not look particularly close in the polling, and I think President Biden would have done worse than Kamala Harris did. I think we live in a world where there's a lot of anti-incumbency bias, and Americans tend towards wanting change. And, you look back at the last few years with inflation, the migration crisis reaching cities like New York City and Chicago and all these places that haven't traditionally dealt with it, instability abroad, the war in Gaza, the war in Ukraine. I think it's not surprising to me at all that the American electorate was looking around and decided they wanted change.
I know that you predicted Trump he would win this one, and I know a lot of readers to the Tangle newsletter, of which I'm certainly one daily, they took issue with that prediction. How is your map going in terms of how reality is unfolding?
Yeah, so I had a little bit of a zag from the herd, I guess you could say, because looking at all the states individually, my read was that Trump was actually going to win Michigan and Wisconsin and lose Pennsylvania and North Carolina, but still win the presidential election. Now, as we sit here tonight at 1:30 a.m., he's obviously won Pennsylvania and North Carolina now, so I got those two wrong. But he looks actually pretty well positioned to win both Michigan and Wisconsin, which, turns into an electoral blowout pretty quick. And I think what I was picking up on was that he had a lot of strength with voters that he didn't have strength with in 2020. And we've seen, even in states like New York and New Jersey and Massachusetts, a huge swing to the right in this election so far based on the results that we're seeing. I mean, Trump is really putting together a coalition that a lot of people didn't think he was capable of putting together. We'll have more clarity on it as the results come through. But yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag for my map. I mean, the top line was that I thought Republicans would win the White House, win the Senate, and lose the House. And I think that is looking pretty strong right now. But I was expecting Harris to at least win one or two of these battleground states, and I'm not sure she's going to based on how things are trending.
Yeah, as Donald Trump prepares to join Grover Cleveland as the only president elected to 2 non-consecutive terms, you were in Pennsylvania. You were doing a live election night broadcast for Tangle, which people should check out. Everybody reads Tangle, from Elon Musk to Bill O'Reilly, progressives, conservatives, everybody in between. What are you hearing from voters in Pennsylvania about why they went with Trump this time around?
I think in 2022, when the red wave that everybody was expecting and talking about did not come to fruition, we looked around and said, this was an election about abortion. And I think this year, the election was about the economy and it was about immigration. And Biden and Harris consistently polled badly on those issues. Trump consistently polled better on those issues. We just lived through a few years of astronomical rises in costs that I think soured a lot of voters on the state of the economy and the future of the economy. And so, unsurprisingly, when you talk to, Biden to Trump voters here in Pennsylvania, or independents who are breaking for Trump after breaking for Biden in the previous election, the first thing that they talk about is the economy. They talk about the cost of living, they talk about the cost of energy, and they talk about immigration. And I think those were salient issues.
Isaac Saul, appreciate it very, very much. If people don't subscribe to the Tangle newsletter, they absolutely should. It's a great source for unbiased journalism and comprehensive perspectives on some key policy issues. Isaac, thanks again.
Thanks so much for having me, Frank. Always a pleasure to chop it up, man.
Thank you. Likewise, Isaac Saul.